So
Get it?
everybody,
Go into it.
everybody, does something, and when you do something for a living, it becomes even a little more meaningful because it's how you make your income.
Yup.
And when it's about that, people get defensive. So I was shooting a wedding. We were all shooting a wedding.
You're
actually.
being so nice.
Yeah. Well, I'm a nice guy. I would say this.
We're nice people.
I would say it to their face either way. Whoever falls into this category.
Right.
When you're doing your job, it's okay to be cautious of how people view you and trying to do a good job and all. But at the same time, you gotta. Where am I going with this? Hold up.
It's easy to get trapped in a bubble.
Yeah.
Of your own work.
Yeah, you're getting trapped in your own bubble. So what happened is we're shooting a wedding all together, and as we're going throughout the day, there's a clicking sound. And not like somebody in a wheelchair, every time the wheel goes around, it's like a subtle little click or something. Like not somebody's got tape on the bottom of their shoe and it's clicking on the floor. Like a loud gun is going off, maybe like a quiet gun. A very loud sound's going off. And we're looking around. It's the photographer's camera. And the photographer's camera, yeah, it's really annoying to me in my ears. It's really annoying to my video when I'm shooting a wedding exactly like that, but 20 times in a minute. So every other second, or it just shutters really fast. And it's so loud. And it's not just impacting our ability to get good audio for the video. I'm like, I don't want to... I'm thinking to myself, I'm not trying to be too defensive here because, they have to do a good job.
Right.
Well, how does a photographer take a video without making a loud noise type of question? And it's also interrupting the entire ceremony because these loud shutters are going off as they're doing their I do's of everything. Oh my gosh, that's a loud sound.
That one's horrible.
And it was just this sound all over and over again. It was driving me nuts. And I was really focused the day we were shooting it, and it was annoying enough that it bothered me, but it wasn't annoying enough that I said anything until we start editing the footage.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And as we're editing everything, it just becomes so much more apparent whenever the couple is reading letters to each other, and it's supposed to be this sentimental moment, and it's just ruining our take. And I put a comment on Facebook, and I said, I will never, and I'll stand by this, I will never recommend a wedding photographer that shoots without silent shutter. And what silent shutter is, it's a feature for newer cameras that are probably, I think you can get it for $1,200 and up cameras, often offer this feature that reduces that sound to 2% of what it sounds like in any other situation.
Or sometimes none at all.
It's sometimes none at all.
Yeah. Depends on the type of camera, but yes.
So
silent.
It's completely quiet.
Yes.
And actually, you know what? No, there was a $300 Nikon camera I worked with for another client, and they had this camera available, and they asked me to turn off the shutter sound. It was a $300 camera, and it had it. And the issue that comes with this became evident because somebody commented on the photo, and it's somebody that I heard the post, and somebody I would actually like to have on the podcast sometime just to talk about it more.
Hey.
And they said, they basically pointed out that I don't know enough about that subject. And I, to their credit, I don't do photography, so it's not something I experience a lot. When you use silent shutter, it can cause banding, which is just some color artifacts, and it makes the image look less high quality. And to a photographer, their job is to get really good images. To me, it's to get really good video with clean audio. So we're at this point of both being defensive about what we do and why we're doing more is more important. And then I was talking to Cole and David about it, and it's we came to the conclusion, maybe I'm speaking for everybody too much here, but it came to the conclusion, it's well, what's best for the wedding and what's best for the client? And it's not only is it interrupting their video audio, but it's also really annoying for the ceremony and the day of. And I looked up more on the information on the banding issue and the artifacts. It only occurs on lower end cameras. And his comment was that you should recommend based on quality, not just the tech that somebody uses. And I fully agree with that. The quality somebody brings is utmost first, but the second priority is how well and easy is it for me to interact with that person, not just socially, but technically and logistically.
He also states that it's a gimmicky feature.
Gimmicky, okay.
Which I
read over that.
Which I don't
believe, especially
it's not
for
gimmicky
this.
at all.
This use case, you want to have something silent.
But this,
and they were very loud cameras. I know some cameras with shutter are less noticeable. Yeah. So it was a very specific situation that we ran into.
Yeah, it's becoming more and more common, the fact that you have the ability to switch between a mechanical and electronic shutter to be able to have silence.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a thing. And I mean, there's more than just wedding use cases for this. There's plenty of times. I mean, there are times where I will go to shoot with Tristan and he will, he'll be working on shooting video work and we need to watch our sound. And so I can switch to a silent shutter and have the ability to take really good quality behind the scenes photos.
Yeah.
Now we shoot everything on mirrorless, so we have that option, but by no means does that feel gimmicky to me. That feels like an extra feature to help me do my job the right way.
Yeah.
And a devil's advocate to this situation be like, well, maybe you could like do another take where they're just not taking photos. Like, be aware like this happened. We can just ask them, hey, we're going to do this again.
Right.
But, like, can you not take photos? But also to go against that, it's during a wedding day.
Well, yeah.
Like you can't just
always
do things
strapped for
over
time.
and over. Like there's a schedule, and like if you have a bridezilla, that's really not going to happen very well. And so it's just, I don't know, just being aware, like when you're doing your job, especially like they're standing there reading things out loud.
Oh my gosh.
Like they're not reading
Click.
it so that you can hear it in the picture.
Click.
It's just some things you just need to be aware what's happening.
Yeah, and the funny thing was, there was 2 photographers, so it was twice as bad as any other wedding I'd experienced.
It's true.
And all this to say is, like, whenever you're trying to identify issues, you can't fully look outside of yourself. Like, you have to look inside a little bit. And moving forward, we do have a list of questions that we already had existing of what we talked to a wedding couple about, and we've added to this list, asterisk, we've added this to the list, that we mention and manage expectations better. And that expectation specifically is, do you want good audio? Okay. Does your photographer have silent shutter, and are they willing to use it for good audio?